Hello and welcome to another Seismic Cinema podcast. Great news, everyone. Paul is back.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing after listening to your last podcast with Mr. Strachan.
Well, you said that all your fan mail was saying that they needed you back.
Yeah, you got to give the people what they want. So, yeah, I'm back by popular demand.
Okay, so this is our Thursday movie review, and Paul, you usually take the honors here. What is it we're going to be looking at this evening?
Well, after last week's review in The Shining, we thought we could do a wee follow up on its sequel, Doctor Sleep.
And I am going to just say that we've both, well, I've only seen this once, so if there's any mistakes or omissions, then it's all Paul's fault.
Yep, it was definitely my fault. I forced this movie upon you and made you not have time for it. But yeah, we should just get right into it and get on with the show.
Yep, so similar structure to last week, we're just going to talk about what we liked about the film, and we've actually discussed this one even less than we did discuss The Shining, so it'll be interesting to hear your takes, Paul. Anything we disliked about the film, links to popular culture, in particular its predecessor, The Shining, and then we'll finish off just by telling you where you can find us and what we've got coming up next.
Yes.
So, Paul, did you? Sorry, on you go.
No, it's a very interesting movie to try and analyze and get through the likes and dislikes. It's just so much different from The Shining. I feel so. It should be interesting to see our different takes on it.
Yeah, the fact I've only seen it literally once, and I've Seismic Cinema Tradition put it on in the background here. It'll just be interesting to see A, what I remember, and B, where we kind of match up and where we differ.
So do you want to take it away with what you liked first?
Okay, so I'm just going to say things that just come into my head. I really like the device where older Danny is writing on. Well, first of all, there's like images and words that appear on his wall in the kind of apartment he's staying in, and then he ends up writing back and forward to another one of the main characters, Abra Stone. Was that correct?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, bro.
So I really like that way of communication, and obviously it showed the link that they've got through having the Shining. So I quite enjoyed that dynamic.
Yeah, it was quite a funny wee quirky thing that they were doing. But I don't know if the landlady walked in, what she'd be thinking.
Aye, so they became fast friends. So, Paul, was something that stood out for you? Something that you enjoyed about the film?
Well, I don't know if this is. I don't know if I can say I enjoyed it, but it's something that stood out for me was the horrendous murder and kidnapping and murder of Baseball Boy.
Baseball boy, yeah. That's what it became
Um,
known as.
yeah. So like the whole scene is probably this the thing that stands out for me as being the most memorable.
That says a lot about you.
Yeah. That's what I wasn't sure.
So, just to refresh our memories, but also anyone that's listening as well, this happens because he's really kind of powerful with the Shining, and the True Knot gang are trying to steal his shine essentially to kind of keep them living longer. That's kind of my understanding of it.
Yeah, they're basically like soul eating vampires that live off what they call steam, which is basically I think
I
is
thought
like a
that was
life
the
force.
I thought that was the software that powered my football manager.
Well, if they lived off that, they'd probably be a bit less gory.
Yeah. So I liked the kind of communication device. You didn't like the murder, obviously, but you it was memorable for you.
Yeah, but
I
also
like. Oh, sorry, on you go.
I'd just like to say as well, like see the wee actual baseball himself,
Hmm.
like his acting in the scene,
Hmm.
I thought was like crazy good, and I was like, should I really be watching this? Like, what's going on? Is he actually getting murdered?
It's a bit of a theme in The Shining and Doctor Sleep that there's strong child actors, because I know you're a big fan of young Danny's performance in The Shining, and also I've forgotten her name now. Is it
Abra.
no Abra? Abra gave a really strong performance as well. She was like likable and like innocent, but also very creepy as well.
Yeah, but she's also got a strength about her that she's willing to take on these these basically vampires,
Yeah,
to try and help Baseball Boy and just basically take them down as well.
I really like that scene in the supermarket where they're like kind of getting into each other's minds, and then she just like fights back, and Rose the Hat, the main villain, goes kind of flying into the freezer.
Yeah, I thought it was quite. There's quite a few good exchanges between Rose the Hat and
Yeah,
Abra when they're trying to like figure each other out, try to get into each other's minds. Uh, and I like the scene that was kind of similar to that when Rose tries to find Abra again after that exchange, and she thinks she's going through Abra's kind of mental filing case uh, to find clues about her, but Abra's actually set a trap for her and knows she's coming because Dan's warned her, and she ends up turning her against herself and going into Rose's head and stealing all the information about her. I thought that
yeah.
was a really good scene as well.
It is quite a clever film. Another thing that comes to mind that I really liked Billy Freeman, Dan's friend, the guy he starts working with and who takes him to the AA meetings.
Yeah, he comes across really genuine, doesn't he? That
Yeah,
he wants to help Dan.
he just kind of recognizes that Dan's in a kind of tricky place and basically gives him somewhere to live and sorts him a job all in the winter. So he's a really top guy.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I think he's in a few things. I think he's in Fear the Walking Dead, and I've seen him in a few movies
Cliff
from the 90s.
Curtis, according to Wikipedia, Cliff Curtis is his name.
Well, yeah, I did like his character, but I'm going to put his death in the didn't like section.
Paul, come on, we're supposed to wait until we get to that section.
Sorry,
Is this your first? Is this your first podcast? Right, it's okay. I'll
I'm
let you off.
I'm a bit rusty
I know
after
you were
missing last week.
rusty after being off last time. Yeah, I get it. Right, so who went last there? Can you remember?
What was that? Sorry.
Who was the last person to say they liked something?
Uh, Me.
Me.
No,
So
it was you. It was you because you
as
said
you.
you liked the actor Billy.
Okay. So anything else stands out for you?
I like the fact that they went full circle, went back to the Overlook Hotel,
Yeah, I didn't.
and
I
then
I didn't see that coming. If I'm being honest, that kind of caught me by surprise. Like,
yeah,
it makes total sense in a kind of fan service sense, and also kind of for the story. But I actually didn't see it coming. If I'm honest, I was really hyped. I think I actually messaged you on Messenger when that happened, saying we're going back to the hotel.
yeah, because you know me, I'm a bit weird, and I watched Doctor Sleep before I seen The Shining,
Yeah,
so after watching it again, after watching The Shining, it just holds so much more gravity now and so much more significance.
yeah. So, just based on the scene I just saw on the screen just there, I think one strength of this film is its real creepy nature. Like, there's a lot of bits that are a wee bit jumpy and a wee bit kind of uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, there's a couple of scenes that, like you're saying, that they're just off-putting. Are you talking about the woman and the baby?
No, I wasn't actually thinking of that scene, but yeah, that's another scene.
What one are you talking about?
I was thinking more of the lady in the bathtub that also comes from The Shining,
Oh, yeah, of course.
who I found her name somewhere and I've lost it. We're trying to up the quality a bit here and have the character names. Mrs. Massey is her name.
Oh, old Nicky, Mrs. Matty.
So she makes quite a few appearances. So there's the bit at the start. You're quite fond of the kind of first scene where we see a young version of one of the characters.
The first scene was
Young Snakebite Andy.
oh no, it was the scene before that I was talking about earlier on in the call. It was when young Violet gets abducted. It's when we first see Rose the Hat and the
Yeah.
rest of the True Knot.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the one.
yeah, so young Violet wanders off into the woods and comes across Rose the Hat, and Rose the Hat comes across as like really nice, and you're thinking, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then just little by little, these random strangers appear in the woods surrounding the wee
That
girl.
was creepy because the first guy that came up, I was like, "Oh, okay, she's got a creepy friend standing in the bushes." But then they all just start appearing, and then suddenly you're like, "Yeah, something's going down here."
Yeah, and then you're like, right, this film's only what 3 minutes old. Surely they're not going to date into this poor wee kid. But nope, 3 minutes in, wee kid gets ultimately devoured by the vampires. But yeah, and there's a fun wee fact as well. I think the director, Mike, is it Mike Flanagan? Is that what, my my brain's
Yeah,
terrible remembering these names.
yeah, I think it's Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan. Um, he directed this movie, but he also directed The Haunting of Hill House, which I really, really liked. It was a series on Netflix. And the wee girl Violet is one of the main stars in that series as well, as one of the wee girls. So yeah, it was nice. It was a kind of nice
Yeah,
wee cameo.
and while we're on the topic of cameo, the guy who plays young Danny in The Shining, he has a cameo at the baseball ground.
Yeah, I didn't notice. Well, saying that,
I didn't see it
I don't
either.
know
I
why I
just heard
noticed it.
it in a review. Can I just apologise, by the way? One of my cats has been really annoying and noisy in the background here. I don't know if you can hear it, but
Which one is it, Domino or Buddy?
his buddy, he's been very off-putting.
Well, my dog's actually sleeping for once, so this is quite
There you
serene
go.
time for me.
They just had to choose right now to start making loads of noise. Something else I liked, just that came to mind, was I liked the scenes between Wendy, is it the mum,
Yes.
and Danny. I thought they were some nice scenes, like when they're sitting watching TV. Although he takes a weird bathroom break at that point, but I thought the two actors that replaced the original cast, I thought they did a really good job, and they kind of captured the essence of the character.
Yeah, I liked that as well because when I seen Doctor Sleep first, and when I went back to The Shining, uh, you could see that they're really really close to what the originals were.
Mm-hmm.
Even Dick Halloran, um,
Yeah, I thought it was the
the
same.
chef from the
I thought it was the same actor. He did such a good job.
yeah, I think he sounds the exact same as well. So yeah, they done a really good job casting wise in the movie to keep that feeling a continuation.
I'm a bit slow, and I didn't actually clock till later on that he was a ghost in the scene in the hospital. Like he's not alive.
What, you didn't realize he was a ghost?
Not the first time I watched the scene. Yeah, but I was like, yeah, I guess he must be quite old by now. Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a fun fact. So see the room of the obviously the 237, the classic room in The Shining.
Yes.
That was actually changed to a different number from the book because the number in the book, I think there was a hotel somewhere that was complaining that it was driving away business. So they picked a number that didn't exist. I don't know what hotel it was, but anyway, the you know how older Danny goes into the room and he meets Dick in one of the hospital rooms.
Yes.
The number on that door is the original number from the book. That's the kind of creepy room in The Shining.
Oh, right, okay. That's a nice wee Easter egg.
I can't
So
remember what the number is, but it's like two. Is it 217 or something?
yeah, it's close. I did wonder that
Yeah,
because I'm sure I heard on another podcast
yeah,
somewhere that they changed the number, but I didn't know why.
yeah.
So it's quite interesting.
Because there's a whole kind of backstory that Stephen King doesn't like The Shining, and a big part of this film was to be a movie adaptation of the Doctor Sleep book, but also to include aspects of the Shining novel to kind of make up for some of the things that were disappointing to Stephen King.
Yeah, there was I think there was quite a few bits and pieces in Doctor Sleep that were set to kind of appease the Stephen King machine.
Just for a bit of, sorry, when you go.
When you go.
Just saying that, just for numbers wise, the Shining novel came out in 1977, same year as a certain other film. But the Doctor Sleep book only came out in 2013, so it's not actually that old a book.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I would have thought it came out way long ago. So
no,
yeah,
and
I didn't know
it was Akiva Goldsman was originally picked to write the script, but then they couldn't get a budget, so it was delayed. And then when another Stephen King book, It, was successful in 2017, they rewrote the script and Flanagan directed it. So it came out about really quickly after the book was released, and it was it that kind of helped launch it to be a film.
Oh, God bless Pennywise.
I'm reading all this off Wikipedia. I'm not a genius, but there you
I was
go.
going to say, I thought you weren't prepared.
No, Wikipedia is quite useful when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, is there anything else you want to highlight that you like before we move on to anything that we maybe didn't like as much?
I think I thought one of the things you would have liked was the hedge maze returning.
Yeah, although actually, I'll stop there. I'll save that for things I don't like. We'll get back to that. I did get so hyped though when they were returning to the hotel. That was like a real kind of geek out moment. I think we would say, are we both becoming quite big fans of this kind of franchise now? Like having done these reviews and watched the films a few times.
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely got a better appreciation for it anyway. Because when I watched it as a standalone film, I was kind of like, yeah, it's all right, but I didn't understand the kind of foundations of like the Shining, the actual Shine itself, and like the significance of the hotel setting and like everything that happened to his dad Jack. So, but yeah, definitely after watching the first one, I really like the franchise as a whole and how it worked out.
Two things just before we move on. I liked that it wasn't Jack Nicholson, but it was cool seeing a stand-in actor, Henry Thomas, playing a bartender when they kind of recreated the famous gold room scene from The Shining.
Yeah, it was a nice wee cameo as well, just to him talking to his father, and obviously over the bar where there was so much animosity with booze in their lives, playing such a big part, especially in Danny's life so far before he settles down in New Hampshire.
It was a really intense scene, wasn't it? When like the Jack ghost passed him the drink, and he essentially turned it down and didn't take it. So it was a real kind of symbolic of the kind of the battle with alcoholism that he was fighting.
Yeah, especially after seeing the nick of him at the start of the film.
Yeah, we don't want to see Obi-Wan like that, do we?
We don't.
The Clone Wars were rough. Right, so let's move on to the things we dislike, and I'll be honest, nothing comes to mind immediately. I'm going to let you start, and then I'll chime in after that.
Well, like I would say, the thing I didn't dislike was that
didn't dislike.
Yeah, I know.
So you liked it?
It's a kind of double-edged sword because I kind of liked that the Shining powers were like ramped up to like 1,000 in this.
X-Men compared them to.
Yeah, so it's like the X-Men, like everyone's got like their kind of wee superpower like they use their Shining for.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't like the fact that everyone had all these different powers because it did make it feel like kind of X-Men superpowers kind of way. Like it's hard to say. Like I did like it in some instances, but I didn't like it. If you know what I mean.
You're going to end in a real circle there. Right.
Yeah,
so
I like
you like the evolution of The Shining, so we could push that back to the first segment of this podcast, but you don't like that it maybe went a wee bit too far?
Yeah, some points, like when she's like flying through the air, seeking, like kind of projecting herself, seeking
Yeah.
Abra. I didn't like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of took me out of it a wee bit. But
Yeah.
I did like overall like elaborating. I like that Danny, his powers seem to have evolved, like you said, and he seems to kind of have the all round package of being able to control it as well.
Obviously, it was necessary for the film, but like you, I feel like the True Knot gang. I just see when they were like sucking what do they call it?
Steam.
The steam from them. I don't know. I just thought that bit was a wee bit. Uh, nah. Yeah. I just feel like it was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just very vampire culty. But I think, do you think that kind of ties in? Like Danny at the start, he's like kind of addicted to alcohol, and then these vampires are addicted to this steam. That kind
Mm,
of thing. There seems to be a lot of kind
yeah.
of addiction theme going out through the whole film.
And what they were saying was, when it's set 2019, the gang were starving because steam was becoming really rare. So the boy at the baseball and Abra, etc. That's why they were so wanting to get them because there wasn't as much steam going around.
Yeah, and Abra was the whale to them, wasn't it? That it could keep them, could sustain them for a long time if they kept her
Yeah.
kept her alive and just ate her up bit by bit. But there's also worth mentioning as well that to make the steam, I think, more purer, they said, was it has to be through pain and suffering. So like
Right.
when they're murdering the wee boy, they murder him like brutally and
Mm.
slowly because they need his fear, they need his pain to make the steam more pure. And I thought that was just that was so bad. I felt so bad for that wee boy.
Yeah.
Uh, but
So
I think they were going to do the same
maybe
to
a
Abra.
bit too brutal.
Oh, I think it was necessary for the film just to show how bad these guys were. But yeah, it definitely sticks in your mind when as soon as I think about Doctor Sleep now, I just think of that scene. So, so that's kind of the iconic one for me.
So one thing that it's similar to you. It's something I like and dislike. I like that they went back to the hotel because it was really cool and it turned what was a decent film into quite a memorable film.
Yeah.
But I think they went really like fan service over the top towards the end. It just like became like Shining 2.0. Obviously, it was meant to mirror Jack's story with Danny's story. But what's your thoughts? Do you feel like it went a wee bit too fan servicey towards the end?
Uh, you know what? I didn't actually mind it. I thought just because the whole film was going full circle, I thought it was kind of necessary. Well, not necessary, but like I said, it was fan service, but I didn't actually mind it at all. Um, but have you read the entire audiobook yet?
The Shining.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that far into it. I was going to mention that actually. I'm finding it a bit weird. Like it focuses a lot more on Jack's alcoholism and like the kind of family dynamic at home. So he's just kind of got the job. I'm still quite early into it, but I'll keep you updated as I progress.
All right, because I was going to mention something, but it kind of spoils the end of the book because the
Right.
book's different. It ends
Yeah.
different to the movie.
Yeah. Just leave it. We can discuss that in a future time. So
Okay.
I mentioned that I thought maybe it went a wee bit too fan servicey. We thought maybe some of the powers were a wee bit over the top. Is there anything else in this film that you didn't like as much?
To be honest, I can't think off the top of my head. I thought it was just a really kind of well balanced movie. Maybe at the start it was kind of a bit depressing, but I think it was meant to show how Danny's struggling.
Hmm.
But when I was watching it for the very first time, I was like, "Geez, oh man, like this is not fun."
He's very socially awkward at the start, wasn't he? He became a wee bit better communicating as it went on, but He's very very kind of reclusive, but you would kind of expect that of someone who had the childhood experiences that he had, and that's a big theme of the film.
Yeah, and being haunted constantly by the ghosts from the Overlook.
Yeah. So we're kind of struggling to talk about things that we dislike, but other things are coming to mind. I did like the bit where he kind of called back all the ghosts, and you see like the twins, and you see the the old caretaker. Was he in that scene?
I think so. Was it Grady? Was it?
Yeah, Gilbert Grady. So you see a lot of those characters there.
Yeah, I'd like. You're saying it did kind of a lot of the stuff did mirror the old. Even even see the camera shots.
Hmm.
It's like for like the old movie as well. Like when Ewan McGregor's going up the stairs, the camera's over his shoulder.
Yeah,
It's like over Wendy's shoulder.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
There's also the scenes with the Danny's bike and the kind of flashback at the start, the kind of
Yeah,
the camera behind the bike, that kind of thing.
yeah, it's shot the exact same way.
Yeah.
The only thing that's like we're talking about dislikes and stuff. It's not got the same feel as the original. It's not a big gripe for me because the first one was like it's unique in its own kind of
Mhm.
special way, and I don't think you could do that in this day and age. I don't think people these days would have the attention span for it. But
You don't want to just rip off the
yeah,
classic though, so it's probably better that it paid homage in a slightly different way.
yeah, but like the atmosphere was totally different, which I don't mind. It was just I was expecting The Shining and this to be kind of similar, but it's really
Hmm.
totally I would say totally different.
All the
But
mum and the baby are on the screen right now with the maggots coming out their eyes.
yeah, that was a weird scene as well. But uh, does he deserve redemption after that?
So I'm just trying to think there. I'm just trying to think, not necessarily things we dislike, but just other things that we remember because it was about a week ago that I watched it. Now, oh, we did mention it. Danny's new friend, his really surprising and sudden death, and I was really enjoying the character of Billy. And then, do you remember how he went?
Yeah, snake bite. Well, Billy and Danny ambush the True Knot in the woods,
Hmm.
um, and they get the better of most of them. I think kill most of them except Andy. And Andy's about to kill Danny, but Billy shoots her in the neck and I think the stomach, and she looks like she's about to die. But Andy uses her special power, which is basically to uh, it convinces people to do whatever she says.
Yeah,
And just as her final parting words, she just looks at Billy and tells him to kill himself.
it was
At which
brutal,
point he's
wasn't
going,
it?
"Oh
I
no!"
wasn't expecting that, and I was like, that's so like brutal. Like,
Like I thought Danny might use his power or something to try and stop
mm,
him, but obviously he couldn't because it was too quick. But yeah, I felt bad for him. Like Billy was just trying to help him,
uh,
and like most of the movie, Danny's trying to convince Billy about his powers and stuff. And I thought he might have lasted a bit longer, but
yeah.
poor guy.
They made you really care about the character, then just ripped him away, which obviously was impactful. But I was a wee bit annoyed that that was the end of his story because I was enjoying the dynamic.
Yeah, but you knew when Andy's sitting there dying that she was going to get a few words off, like because she hadn't died straight away,
Yeah,
and it wasn't going to turn it well for Billy.
yeah. There's some really just what's on the screen for me right now. The some of the scenes of the AA meeting are really good when like Danny gets up and kind of talks about his dad. It seems like despite everything, he still kind of cares for his dad and kind of looks back on him semi fondly.
Yeah, it does appear that way. Um, I don't know if it's maybe part of the book or whatever that maybe he does some have some
Mm,
sort of empathy with him, but um, I could imagine that does take it quite badly, even though in the Shining movie you can clearly see that Danny's mostly terrified of Jack most of the time.
yeah,
But I'm just
yeah.
watching the scene where Danny gets possessed, and he basically turns into Jack with the limp and stuff.
Yeah, are you that far on?
Yeah.
Right, so we normally do a segment just talking about links to popular culture. Like, I don't know this film. Oh, there's a bit on the screen now that I would have forgotten if I didn't have it on the screen now. That's why this is useful. The scene when Danny goes to get the job in the hospital, and it's like an exact replica of the office in the Overlook, with the orange walls and stuff in the window.
I never noticed that.
Did you not notice that? It's on my
Yeah.
screen right now, and it's exactly the same as the interview Jack got interviewed in, the room Jack got interviewed in.
No, I never noticed that at all. So that's
Yeah.
quite interesting.
So is there any other wee nods? Well, there's loads of nods, but was there anything else particularly that stands out in terms of links to The Shining? Because that's probably our main point of reference here for this film.
Eh,
Or we
I
covered
can,
most of them.
yeah, I think we did cover most of them. Just the returning kind of cast. Well, not the returning cast, but returning characters from the original movie. Oh, sorry.
One thing we didn't mention was that Danny gets the job, and basically his job is to like calm people that are close to death.
Yeah, he
'Cause
becomes
he-
an orderly in a hospice.
Yeah, and I like that, but I'm glad they didn't do it for too long, because it would have been quite a depressing film if it was just him constantly speaking to people that were at death's door.
Yeah, and I think he'd be getting quite a bad reputation with the
Yeah.
locals as well.
Yeah. So I think we'll maybe just finish up there, because we kind of spoke about the nods as we went along, and there wasn't really that much we disliked. It was just maybe a wee bit over the top at times, and for me there was maybe a wee bit too much fan service, but overall I enjoyed it, and after having it sitting next to my TV for 2 years, I'm glad to have finally watched it.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I actually really enjoyed the film. I wasn't expecting too much because I think when it came out, the reviews were pretty bad or pretty mediocre kind of thing.
Mm,
So I actually really enjoyed it for what it was, and I thought the cast done a really good job acting as well.
we love Ewan, don't we?
Who doesn't? Come on.
We love Ewan. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to do any Star Wars references tonight.
Can you help yourself?
Only a couple. Right, so we'll finish up there. And Paul, do you want to take a wee turn, saying what our social medias are and give a wee update on that?
I was going to say before we do that, do you want to do a final rating of the movie out of 10?
Rating out of 10. Okay, let me have a quick wee think. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you go.
I'll give it an 8.
A good solid 8.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
take points off just because it was a wee bit too far-fetched at times, and it became a wee bit too fan servicey towards the end.
Yeah, I like that. I'd probably agree with you. A good solid 8. It was a good movie, and like we're really nitpicking to find things we didn't
Yeah.
really like with the film.
Oh, I've just seen something on the screen I just need to mention. The cat in the hospital is absolutely adorable.
What's its name?
I can't remember, but it's so cute.
The Death Cat.
It's so cute though. Right, anyway, that's to get distracted. So is that you trying to avoid doing the social media duties again?
No, I'll do it. As long as you can fire off the slogan.
I'll do that at the end, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can find us on all major social media platforms. We've got a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram page. Sorry, keep coughing. COVID. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're quite active on Twitter, engaging with different social media other channels and stuff, other podcasts. We've also got on different other platforms where we post our actual podcasts is Spotify, Anchor, which let us do our podcast for free. We're also
we're not getting paid by them, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know.
We need to be nice to them, though. They'll chuck us off.
Send a sense of sponsorship our way. We're also on Google podcasts, and was there another one? Is it Apple Podcasts?
Apple Podcasts, yeah. And your favorite one?
Good Pods.
Good pods.
where
I
we're
still
like
don't have.
number
I still
20.
don't have. I still don't have the login. By the way, you need to send me that.
No worries. So yeah, so
You,
just
you
check
missed.
it.
You
Check us
missed.
out. Check us out.
You missed a key one there. We've got a even less shinier now after a few weeks have passed. We've got
I don't know, what do we have?
a YouTube channel,
Oh, YouTube channel, yes, of course. So YouTube channel.
and Paul is shaving soon, and we're going to start looking into potentially doing some YouTube videos and then converting that into audio for podcasts as well. So we're going to try and dabble in that and get our faces off of the podcast and onto the big screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing either. May drive the audience away.
Okay, in terms of what's coming up next, on Tuesday evening, we're going to be launching our top 10 movie villains, and we haven't like agreed on certain ones that we're going to rank. It's going to be totally random, so we're looking forward to doing that. And we're also going to review the Batman, the new movie starring Robert Pattinson. So we're looking forward to that next week. So just to finish off, just a reminder that our slogan is the power of escapism, and particularly in these troubling times, it's great to turn your brain off for an hour, talk about some movies and TV shows, and wind Paul up about his lack of knowledge of the use of flu powder.
Still can't remember what that is, but hey ho.
Paul didn't make it to the podcast last week because he said Diagon Alley wrong. It's a Harry Potter reference because we did a Harry Potter ranking, which you can also check out on our pages. But anyway, that's us, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, see you next time.